today that God is trying to move us from not having enough, say not having enough,
Not having enough.
to having just enough,
To having just enough.
to having more than enough.
To having more than enough. Amen.
Yes, that's right. Clap your hands. Not just us, he's been doing that since the beginning of time. If we look at the children of Israel, they were in Egypt as slaves. They didn't have enough. They were eating onions
Yeah.
and garlic.
Mm-hmm.
430 years they cried out to God through prayer, and finally God sent them a deliverer in the person of Moses.
Yeah.
And they had to cross the Red Sea to get into the wilderness. The wilderness is the place of just enough.
Uh-huh.
We see that, and you can write this down, Exodus chapter 16. That's daily God would give them manna, bread from heaven, and the quail. They had to go out each day. He gave them water from the rock. We're going to go through these things in detail as the weeks continue. But that was never God's purpose for them to have just enough. He wanted to bring them to the promised land, but there was a river they had to cross to get into the promised land. Do you remember what that name of that river is? I heard someone from the Jordan River, that's right. And as they would cross the Jordan River, they would get into their promised land, their inheritance, so that they would have more than enough. Do you know, as the Lord was dealing with me this week, if my memory serves me correct, my understanding of the scripture serves me correct, God never intended for the Israelites to work one day in their life.
All right, that's true.
If you look at the history, starting with Exodus chapter 13 all the way up to Joshua chapter 5, God caused the Egyptians to give them riches.
That's right. That's
And they were supposed to go through the wilderness. And I'm going to show you in our next time we speak why God didn't let them go that easily. Go through the wilderness and go to the promised land so that they would move from just enough to having more than enough. Is anyone in here today that is living in the land of just enough? Are you tired of living in the land of just enough?
Yes.
Do you want to go to the land of more than enough?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I got my technical assistant, Minister Laquan.
Woo.
Our problem. We have a big problem. Can anyone guess what it is? We have dominion over spiritual things, but we don't have dominion over earthly things. Oh, we can pray, we can cast out demons, we can bring down strongholds. When it comes to spiritual things, we're good. Okay? But we don't have dominion over earthly things. But we just read Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, and what did it tell us?
We have dominion.
God blessed them, and God said unto them,
Yep.
be fruitful and multiply. And what?
Replenish the earth.
And
We
what?
have dominion over the fowl of the air and the
And fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and everything
living thing on the land.
on the earth.
Yeah.
Earth, air, and land.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is the problem. The reason we don't have dominion over earthly things is for one reason. Guess what?
What?
We don't have enough money. It takes money to rule the earth.
What are you preaching?
Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? This is going back to what Pastor was talking about, rebuilding the temple, the children of God being manifest, and going back to what God gave me on first Sunday. This is the year of exposure. The only way we can manifest God is by owning stuff.
Yeah.
Owning up stuff. If we own all the television stations, if we own all the land, if we own all the banks, if we own the political system, then we have dominion over the earthly things. Until we get some money, we're not dominion in anything. I made that word up. So don't go looking for that. Go ahead, Maestro.